Todd, let's bring in an amazing guest from his own variety channel where he creates content, and HTC. We have Brandon Connely here with us. Brandon, what's up, dude? How you
What's
doing,
up,
man?
everybody? How's it going? How's it going?
Good, good. Dude, thanks
Eric,
for coming on the show.
I appreciate you having me here, Todd. You can just go.
Tell him.
You know, he was saying
you're my favorite, and I'm your favorite, so don't lie.
Well, he was
Not
saying earlier
true.
how you're the nicest Canadian, and you just don't want me to be on here, man. That's just not true.
I know, but he's just a terrible American. He's throwing me under the bus every chance he gets.
I only
don't
throw you
believe it.
under
I
the
just
bus
don't
when it's
believe it.
true.
I don't. No, but thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. Obviously, there's no time like now. So I appreciate you having me on here and talking about some amazing VR stuff that's going on currently.
Cool shit that's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, and there is a ton going on too, and we have some really cool stuff to talk about HTC tonight, which is one of the reasons why we had you on. But before we even get into that, I want to talk about you a little bit because I mean, anybody who is in the VR space that gets a chance to to interact with you because of HTC, or has gone to some of the shows and the expos that we've gone to. You get a chance to kind of hang out with you and meet you and see how an amazing person, genuine person, an ambassador of VR that you are, which is cool. But a lot of these people don't get the chance to see that. So if you could just kind of introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you have a great channel where you do lots of streaming also, but yeah, just tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we have that much time to cover everything, but we'll definitely try.
I'm good.
Yeah,
I told you guys, as soon as I go live, I'll be fine. I'm ready to go.
yeah, you're solid.
Adrenaline is kicking in.
Yep,
just throw up off to the back on the side, and you'll be set.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a gamer at heart. I mean, I played video games like 5, 6 times, maybe 7 times a week sometimes. I love VR. The community, one thing, is just an amazing group of people. You guys, are amazing. I love hanging out with you guys. Going to the events is probably my favorite things to do every single year, is just getting to be with all of the people in the community. But sidestepping backwards, I've been at HTC for about 8 years now. So basically, right when the first OG HTC Vive headset released. And I've been on every CES that we've done. I've gone and talked about all of our products. I've been through just everything that we've kind of done over the last 8 years, and I'm now on the global PR team. So I get to not only attend amazing conventions, expos, and events with everybody in the VR community, but I get to engage with media and kind of just keep pushing our brand out there and tell people what we're all about. And it's just I honestly wouldn't trade it, because it's amazing. I love it so much. And like I said, the VR community is amazing, but like when you people that have tried VR or haven't tried VR, you really know how impactful it can be. And it's like there's nothing like it.
It's so good.
True.
It's
so true.
And when you go to these shows, we talk about these shows and how much you love these shows. When Brandon goes to these shows, he's like Santa Claus, because he always has something in his backpack.
And he's like a conversation magnet, right? Like everybody flocks to Brandon. If they see him across the showroom floor at CES or wherever we are, it's like a herd of people that are going to chase down Brandon. What's he going to show us today? What's he going to talk about today?
It's my favorite, my favorite thing, getting to like pull something out of my backpack. Like I met you guys at GDC last year, and I pulled the self-tracking tracker out of my backpack, and I was like, "What is this? You want to see this?" And that was when we first announced it too. So like, not that many people had seen it, and it was. It's just an amazing piece of hardware I'm gonna have.
I don't remember where it was last year.
He
left
it in his pocket every time.
Just
I don't remember if it was CES or South by last year that like literally we went to a party and you had a backpack full of HTC Vive XR Elites. You had like 4 of them in your backpack, and you just gave them out and just started handing them around to people, and then we were just hanging out. Everybody was hanging out, putting the XR Elites on their head, and having a blast, like in the middle of a party. It's so cool, man, when you get a chance to do those. Like, for me, I would be getting drunk and then be like, I forget I'd have a headset, and all of a sudden my headset's to walk out the door.
Yeah, it's amazing how well you keep yourself together in these.
Thankfully, I
don't lose anything.
I haven't lost anything, and I'm very thankful for it. But everyone that does take something on my hands, they're very respectful to bring it back or find somebody else that should have it. So I appreciate that a lot, because there are some awesome events that happen, and it is what it is.
Yeah, and you got a chance to hang out with us at CES. We had our Impact Reality party, which is a awesome kick-ass party that you got a chance to be there for, and even Alvin Wayne Grayling, who was the former president of HTC China, was there hanging out, and he got a chance to spend some time. And
what's up, Jeff? I see Jeff Rayner in there.
Oh, Jeff Rayner, and here's another awesome dude from hanging out with us out there.
I've yet to go to his office space because I'm here in Seattle and he's in Seattle too, and we have yet to link
that's
up.
crazy.
Actually,
You guys got
to make him feel better. I actually texted him last week and he hasn't texted me back. So
Jeffrey.
So there's that online right now. So you got that to handle.
Damn. And man, right out of the gate again, we have a $99.99 super chat from the Scott Albright from Combat Waffle Studios and Ghost of Tabor. Q to the motherfucking C. I like it. I like
Thank
it.
You,
That's
Scott,
all you gotta get a new sign in the background.
A new sign, yeah. That's what mine's gonna say. Yeah.
Yes, definitely do that. That would be sweet.
And then just put $99 on below it.
Right below it. Yeah.
There's two studios. There's two studios or two places I absolutely had on my like bucket list of places I want to go. That was Scott's new studio, the Combat Waffle Studio down in Florida, which I had a chance to drive down and go and hang out for the day, which was absolutely amazing. Their setup that they're going to have when that whole facility is done is going to be like top notch, one of the best. One of the best facilities I've ever seen. But Jeff Rayner's would be the other one. Like that is on my bucket list. Like Jeff has some of the coolest shit. Like he always has something. Yeah. He's like, if you're into tech or into virtual reality or augmented reality, Jeff has the coolest shit there. Like he always has something cool going on because he's always doing so much research and so much teaching and and learning.
Well, I mean, and he does like games and enterprise type stuff too. So it's like both of them are getting hit on the same target, and it's just it's really awesome.
Yeah.
What event were we at? Was it CES? Yeah, it was CES where Jeff hosted a
That was the day
night
before.
Of VR. Yeah, and we did a bunch of games and stuff that were produced in his studios. All those games that we were competing in.
Yeah, that was super
cool.
fun.
Yeah, that was the night that I pulled the little abominable toy.
Oh, that's right.
Figure out.
Hey, that was super cool. Yeah,
that was really fun.
Yep. Yeah, I came in second in that whole process. By the way,
I got robbed. I ended up. We were supposed to fly these planes to France and land at the Eiffel Tower. And I put the headset on, and I'm in the middle of Africa.
Well, it's close. That was the problem.
Yeah,
I was destined to lose. You did pretty good.
Yeah, I came in second. Alex VR beat me for first place, but there was like 15 people that got in. I think it was pretty cool. All VR people, which is great.
And I think it was HTC trackers that he won.
It was. Yeah.
And some rebuff track straps.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Todd did lose at a VR arcade, or not VR arcade, sorry, an arcade shooter.
It never happened. It never happened.
I have a photo.
Was that at the CES party at Player One Bar?
Yeah.
Might have happened.
Yeah.
I think he tripled my score in a shooter game we were playing.
It was Area 51, I believe, and I love that.
I love that game. Area 51 is one of my favorites, man.
I absolutely
he definitely kicked my butt.
Crushed him.
Yes, true.
I have to bring this up now again too because it's been a little bit of a while, but literally, guys, my VR arcade cabinet is like in the process. I had the graphics consultation the other day, and we picked out the graphics and what the cabinet's going to look like on the outside.
Cool.
But Brandon, I have this huge arcade cabinet being built. I'm kind of recording some of the process, and we're putting VR into it as well. It's going to have this arcade cabinet is going to have every system and it's going to have every classic arcade game. It's going to have that classic PlayStation, Nintendo, every system all the way up. It's going to have like 50,000 or 60,000 different games in it. It's going to have light guns. It's going to have Guitar Hero guitars mounted on the side for Guitar Hero. Has the trackball. It'll have.
I was gonna say you need to get the golf one. Yeah,
you need a golf ball.
It'll have a trackball. It'll have a joystick for flight games or like Tron. The game Tron it'll work that, and it'll even have a wheel for any kind of steering games with wheel and pedal for that. And then it's also gonna have VR in it, so it's gonna have a 3080 Ti in it, and with a computer, and I'm gonna be able to run VR this thing. And it's gonna be a side mounted headset. It'll come right off of this arcade cabinet that we're designing. That is going to be in all of his designs now. This guy, this company, Phantom Arcades. This is something that I got started because I wanted him to build me an arcade. But literally, this is something where we've come together as a collaboration now. That we have decided that the people that want full immersion of games, like all games, want VR too. It's something that they can't normally get.
Yep.
and this is like a whole bunch of people have asked for this now. So I'm helping him design it, so it's going to be in all the future arcade cabinets. So we're pushing VR out to a whole different market now, which is kick
And what a
ass.
great thing to have it on, right? Because the arcade cabinets, like I've got them on the other side of that wall, but it's in my living room. There's tons of space out there. So
Yeah.
if you had just a headset hanging on the wall, like a Pico or something.
Well, let me know when you get that up and running, because along with HTC, I also run a retro gaming convention in
Oh, no
Washington
way.
every year with a friend of mine. So we have arcade cabinets throughout. We have pinball machines, a lot
Well,
of
there you go.
artists, comic artists, guests, and all that stuff. So might be able to
Very cool.
feature that there as an exclusive thing.
Yeah, super cool. And
Great
Techno
idea.
Glitch says, "Will it have pinball?" And it does actually. It's got it's going to be video
Digital pinball. Yeah.
pinball digital, but it does have the pinball buttons on the side, like that you'll be able to use for that.
It's gonna have the old Windows pinball application.
There you
If
go.
anybody
Yeah, right.
remembers
Remember
that.
that?
I do.
Oh my god.
Absolutely.
We got another super chat, $5 from Awesome Tatum that says, "Todd can beat
Nice.
Eric in an arm wrestle and tennis." And I agree with both of those things.
You can?
Awesome Tatum says so.
I mean, there's $5 on the line, so unless
true,
unless $6 comes in and
Counters
counteracts
it?
what yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. All right. At GDC, I'm taking Todd on.
Oh god. Yeah, done deal.
I love it. Well, this is a good segue, Brandon. Let's talk about you and HTC a little bit. So your position, you mentioned a little bit earlier. Tell us a little bit about your position with HTC, and then let's talk a little bit about, I'd like to talk a little bit about HTC in general right now, and like kind of the things that you have going on. And then I'd love to talk about this new, the International Space Station and
Yeah.
HTC kind of being featured there.
Yeah, I mean, we started with cell phones, obviously. I mean, we've been in the hardware business for around 27 years now. So we've been developing hardware for what feels like forever. My position, I said a little bit before, but I'm on the global PR team. I get to engage with media, do stuff like this, because not everyone on the company is, semi comfortable with public speaking and being in front of people and talking about the products, and they have amazing talent and they're smart in other places. So that's where I come in, and I love talking about our products and what we're doing, and what we're focusing on. I'm sure everyone is aware of the Vive self-tracking tracker that we released, that we announced last year, and now it's released. We have an open beta for third-party PC VR headsets, so all-in-one headsets, and that would be like a Quest 3 or Quest 2, because we want to build products in an open ecosystem so everyone has the accessibility to use them. So we don't want like the trackers to just be tied to our devices, because there's a giant market for other all-in-one headset users, and they don't really have the ability to use a standalone or to use a tracker unless you're going to buy base stations, and that comes with a whole nother cost. And some people don't want to mount base stations in their walls. Some people live in apartments and they can't really make holes in their walls, and that disables them from doing all those things. And that the self-tracking tracker just opens up the accessibility options for people outside of the realm of just our headset hardware. Main focus of ours is obviously enterprise. We see a lot of potential and growth in the enterprise market, but we started with consumer stuff, but we moved to enterprise, and it's been amazing because like I said, I'm a gamer, and I wasn't necessarily on board when we did a shift to enterprise, but seeing how impactful and how amazing XR and VR and AR and all that stuff can make everyone's lives a lot easier as far as like productivity, training, different medical applications, just infinite possibilities in the workforce. And we do stuff in the military sectors as well. We have clearances and ATOs that we have to enable our headsets to be in certain sectors of different militaries.
Cool.
Because we also pride ourselves on privacy and security. We don't collect any data. We don't we don't do any of that stuff. Nice. That's not our that's not what we want to do and how we want to run the business. We want to enable people to use our products and not have to worry about us collecting data, like the headsets, the trackers, all of the stuff that we have. None of the tracking map is ever saved, and it's all encrypted on the headset, so nobody can access that stuff even if they wanted to try to. Obviously other companies on the market, they do collect that stuff, and
Who are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. But then, you know, like we still see a huge market for gaming. You know, we want to still be in that space. Viveport is an amazing subscription service that's been, you know, I think now 6 or 7 years that it's been, you know, just working with developers and different publication, you know, companies. And you know, we have some great things in that sector as well.
Viport's
But
not talked about enough.
No,
Seriously.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is not
Viport,
talked
like
about enough.
especially Viport Infinity. Viport
Yeah.
Infinity is like one of the best deals that you like if you have a PC and if you have a headset, like not having Viport Infinity makes no sense. There's so many games there for a small monthly fee. Like I don't even know if you could play them all. Like
well,
I support it, even though I get pretty much every game.
I still
Anyway,
support
I
it
still
too.
support it just
Yep.
because I think it's a good service.
It's a great service.
well, and speaking on the open ecosystem of our hardware and software, Viveport, you can access that on any headset.
Right.
You
Yep.
know, if you have Viveport on PC, you can you know, launch your Quest headset and use it with that if you wanted to. If you have a Vive headset, you can launch it with that. You know,
I
we
used it
enable
on a
people to.
Windows mixed reality headset back in 2016 or 17.
Yep.
Or yeah, somewhere around there. Like
Yeah.
you guys have been doing it for well, it seems like forever.
Yeah,
Like,
Viveport supports
Viveport was the way to
all of
where
that.
you went. Yeah. Revive, I think, was the software I had to use back then.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Remember that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Revive. I love Revive.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, obviously, I could just talk about this stuff for forever, and but I think the main thing that I want to like tell people about right now is that, you know, we'll show some more stuff on it here in a second, but we recently sent a Focus 3 up to the International Space Station, and we essentially, our engineers, which are amazing people, a lot of them have been in the company 10, 15, 20 years. Like they're really passionate. And they're just smart as hell, honestly. But they configured a Vive Focus 3 to work in a microgravity environment on the space station. And
that's insane. Like I can think of 40 different things that would prevent that from happening right now. Like being able to work. Like just making that happen had to be like insane and like a lot of work into just trying to make it happen.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we partnered with NordSpace and XR Health to make this collaboration happen, and you know, they were you know, amazing in the whole process of talking with us to how to get this to work. But it's funny because when you think about, you know, where we are, it's it's easy to make something work because there's a way for the headset to tell which direction you are, the gravity, and all that stuff. But when you're in space, there's essentially no direction. There's no gravity, any of that stuff. So we took a Focus 3 controller and we identified it as an anchor point so that the headset can make it understand that that's where you need to track from. And we used the LBSS, which is the location-based software suite, and that's essentially, we learned everything from LBSS by our LBE partners. So in the VR arcade space, and we used simulator mode, which then enabled us to try to test for a microgravity environment. But the hardest part is that you can't really test for a microgravity environment unless you're in microgravity.
I saw some test footage of you guys in like a 747, the anti-gravity jet flying around with a guy strapped to the ground so that he didn't float off into the roof or something. So he's strapped down, testing out things on this headset, and there's two other people holding him trying to hold him in place while this is all taking place. What made you guys? You might not know the answer to this, but did the space people come to HTC, or did HTC think, you know what we should do is we should go to space? Like what a genius idea.
Well, I think all of us are always thinking like we want to go to space. You know, we're all explorers. We want to explore different planets and different worlds and all that stuff. And that's why we're in the VR space. We love exploring,
right?
You love exploring those things. But it was really, you know, the partnerships that we have with you know, XR Health and NordSpace, that their collaboration with this enabled all of it to happen.
Right.
And the thing that we were really wanting to do is improve mental health on the space station, because when you think about being in an isolated environment, there's nothing that compares to being like in space on the space station, because we've all probably experienced some sort of isolation from at least COVID or something else. But at least we could walk outside and go breathe fresh air like that. You know, you still had that ability to go do that. When you're in the space station, you're there. I mean, you're there for 6 to 9 months. And I was reading the other day that you only get to call your family, your friends, or loved ones like once a week. it's dependent on where the space station is,
Yeah, whether or not it's even possible. Yeah. Right.
And they have to route that to people at NASA, then they route that to your family or loved ones. But it's amazing that it works. Our engineering teams are amazing individuals, and there's headsets that are struggling to work in cars and airplanes right now, and we and we have a headset that works in space.
Right. I mean, like just the logistics. When I say there's probably 40 things that I can think of that would make it almost impossible to do this, those are the things that I'm thinking of. Like, we literally have just gotten to the point now where we have headsets that can work on a plane without having tracking go all crazy because you're actually moving, or in a car, or walking down the street. I mean, without having a anchored point, it's so difficult to get these things to work. To have it done in a microgravity environment is crazy insane. And there's a ton of questions in chat already. I think this is probably a good point. We have a short video that kind of shows a little bit about it. So I think this is a good point, may answer some of these questions. But if not, we'll come back and we'll answer them if it doesn't.
For sure.
Two of the experiments that I'm performing during my mission on board the International Space Station involves the use of a virtual reality headset. The first experiment is concerned with mental health or psychological well-being. We astronauts on board the space station are living in a very confined, artificial, laboratory-like environment. It's very sterile, it's very cold, and we don't have access to nature. And that affects our psychological well-being. Personally, I really miss being able to step outside, to feel the breeze, to feel the wind, to feel the warmth of the sun, to smell the leaves, the grass, and the flowers. And even though the virtual reality headset doesn't let me do that, I still get a feeling of being in nature when I wear it. I have 5 different videos on this headset from various scenes in nature, including a sunset, a day at the beach, a mountain path, and a summer's day next to a river. And when I put on the virtual reality headset, I can hear the wind rustling through the leaves, hear the birds singing. I can almost feel the warmth of the sun. And I have to be honest, I didn't actually expect it would make much of a difference, but I found that I love wearing this headset. It takes me into nature. It makes me feel like I'm out in nature, that I'm outside of the space station, away from this artificial environment. And it de-stresses me. It makes me relax. It takes away a lot of the daily stress, and just allows me to re-energize, just to kind of relax, to catch my breath, to feel like I'm back on the earth. It's a really great way to get away from this artificial environment on board the space station. For long duration missions, it makes a huge difference. The second experiment that involves the use of this virtual reality headset is an experiment that combines the headset with the bicycle, our stationary bicycle on board the space station, what we call CVIS. And this is another terrific experiment because when I combine the headset with our bicycle, it allows me to cycle different routes in Denmark. And it's actually one of my favorite things to do on board the space station now. I have 5 different routes from Denmark on this headset, including a mountain bike path through the woods, a route along the beach, one in the countryside, and one through Copenhagen, and one through another large city called Odense in Denmark. And what's even better is that the routes in this headset are integrated into the loading mechanism on this bicycle. And so when I'm, for example, cycling through the forest on a mountain bike path, the loads that I'm feeling while exercising matches what I see. So when I'm going uphill, the loads are increased, and when I go downhill, the loads are decreased. And that way, I actually feel like I'm bicycling through the woods on a mountain bike path. And it's really great. It's so motivating. And at the same time, I feel like I'm out in nature, enjoying a nice bike route through the woods or along the beach. And it's actually become one of my favorite things to do on board the space station, is to cycle while wearing the virtual reality headset. Now, one of the challenges of using the virtual reality headset in space is that the headset doesn't know where the horizon is. It can't sense gravity. but that's been solved using one of the controllers, which serves as an anchor point. And by me tilting it, pivoting it, adjusting its position, I can tell the headset where the horizon is, and that lets me cycle in a natural way, and also lets me just use the headset in a very natural way, so that it doesn't get affected by this lack of gravity on board the space station. Two of my favorite experiments that allow me to relax and that allow me to feel like I'm back on the Earth in nature.
That was very cool, man. That is
that cool.
I love when we get to do
Amazing.
virtual reality things that are not always game focused, right? Like I enjoy VR gaming more than probably most people. I've built my entire life around it, as you can see behind me, and what we do for a living. But when we can take virtual reality and make it into something more and do it for health reasons or for mental health reasons or physical reasons, or I've seen them do things with blind people now in virtual reality. Then when you can do something like this and give somebody who is away from home doing amazing things, but on a space station where they can't get out of, like you said, Brennan, they can't go outside and just listen to birds chirp or have that hear those things or have those visual cues of seeing like wind blowing through the leaves. I mean, those are the things that you take for granted when you
100%.
don't have them for 6, 8, 10 months at a time and you're stuck in a steel can. Virtual reality can be an escape for you that like nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, when I've watched that video several times, and every time Commander Morganson says like experience nature, you can almost hear it in his voice that he's just sad because he's like, I know that he probably loves what he does, but it's like you like you said, you take it for granted, and you don't get to experience it. And someone had a comment said like, don't they get to bring pictures and videos of their family and stuff like that? I imagine they do, but watching a video on your phone or anything like that, it's not as impactful, and it's not it's not as big as it would be in VR. And you just like it's you feel like you're not in the space that you're in, and that is a huge thing for the astronauts in space. They get to continue to do their jobs. They get to escape reality, which is being in that space station. And if you heard in the video, there's that buzzing ambient noise. They hear that all
Imagine
of
that
the
10
time.
months. Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
And the other thing is they have to work out at least 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
So I would 100% rather be in a headset cycling
Right.
versus
Me
staring at
too.
the wall with all the wires. And someone commented earlier, the OCD is kicking in all the wires, and it's like
Yeah.
it's because all the shows they dramatize it by showing all these pretty and neat spaceships and space stations, but it's those they have to show that, like they have to have that because they can't have a panel going behind something, and they'd
Right.
have to take the panel off and repair it and
Every
whatever else.
time.
And
Yeah. Exactly.
so it's gotta look kind of gross.
Can you beat Saber in 0G? I want to know. Like, I don't want to beat Saber anywhere, but if I definitely don't want to do it, I definitely don't want to do it in 0G.
Well,
No gravity.
seeing him float around in space, it reminds me of the scene in Ready Player One where they're driving around in the van and they're in the back, and he's like harnessed up and he's being shuffled around.
Right.
Getting something like that to work is obviously just right around the corner because of what we're
Right.
doing in microgravity.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy. How long have they been using this like in practice, not just in testing?
So it went up in November.
In November. And has there any like statistics or feedback on anything from people's moods to like I'd imagine it's got a huge impact right from the get-go.
Yeah, I mean we've been receiving videos from NASA and ESA, so they've been keeping us up to date with a lot of the things that have been happening. We get the videos and the footage before it releases. It's now released and public on their websites. But we were watching it as the shuttle went off and they went up into space, and that was when the headset went in, is going up to the space station.
What
and
a milestone. Yeah.
And then they reported back that there was literally no issues, which, I mean, you can't ask for a better message than that. When
Right.
your
It's all
engineering
working.
teams your engineering teams are trying to make this work for 8 months, and then they send it off and it's like, well, we've done all we can, and works. I mean, that's just it makes the impossible possible, essentially.
Yeah. Brendan? Is there future plans to do anything on a larger scale with this now, or what's the next steps for what we're seeing here with this testing?
I mean, we're gonna keep working closely with Nord Space and XR Health, and keep getting updates from like NASA and ESA and the likes of that. And one of Commander Morganson's primary goals is to test out VR with mental health on the space station and fitness. So that is one of the things that he's testing out up there, and the impact that it can make for people in space. But then it opens up so many more possibilities for other types of pieces of tech like this to work, for people with accessibility options, people that don't get to walk around in VR, because like that's a big thing. Like you have to have a place that you stand in, and that's not always accessible for people. And that's one of the reasons why we made the trackers, because not everyone wants to use controllers all the time, and people in VR chat, they want to dance, and people with standalone headsets, they can't do that unless they got base stations and all the other setup that you need to happen. So I mean, we're monitoring closely. I love it because, like I said before, I'm I'm a gamer, and I've always been big into gaming, but seeing how impactful XR can be in an enterprise space. Like one of the studies that we like to throw around is that doctors that trained in VR make 6 times less errors than people that don't, which
wow,
that's huge.
That's amazing.
That's a huge number.
It's not always going to replace a traditional classroom learning environment, but it's just going to enhance that. It's going to make people more productive. It's going to make learning a lot easier. Your retention rate is actually 79% higher in a VR environment than it is in like a traditional classroom or lecture setting.
That's crazy.
Versus the 5% or 15% that you would normally get in that setting.
I'm a huge proponent for working in VR, and I swear
I see it online all the time. It's
right.
like,
I'm
that's
way
great.
more efficient in VR. I can do so much more in less time. I just love it. So
I would be, but the problem is I start working and then I'm like, oh, I can go play.
I could be playing a game.
I can go play Among Us in VR, and then having to work with Todd. That's boring. I want to go play, or I go and play Ghost of Tabor. Or, that's my problem. I need a headset that doesn't play anything. Oh, thank Apple. Oh wait, no.
There's a funny comment from Jeff I got to put up.
Yeah,
it says. Like from the event, we should convert the climbing app to the Focus 3 and get them to race to the top of the virtual space station while inside the real space station.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that would be great. Really. Yeah, I think he said doing 0G in 0G would be interesting.
Yeah,
because that's what that simulates. That's
right. Yeah,
the app that he has simulates 0G movement. That would be cool.
That would be really cool.
Let's call them now. Set this up.
I know it's not around anymore. I know it's not around anymore, but I would love to play Space Junkies and 0G.
Oh my God, Space Junkies! Yes, I know.
One of these times, I have an old build. It's a 4-player build. That's local. That I'm gonna have to bring to one of these events, and we could play it.
Yes, definitely,
totally.
Do a little tournament.
As Brandon grabs his backpack of goodies and brings his HTC XR Elites out of his backpack and starts handing headsets out.
I'm in.
Brandon, this was cool, man. Thank you for doing this. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it, guys.
We need to do a full-blown thing where I'd love to have you just come in and like do a whole episode where you just come in and talk, news and everything. Not just be here
just
for
co-host,
but come in and just sit and kind of guest and just kind of like talk about the industry, because I think you have an interesting perspective. You're a gamer at heart, which I absolutely love, and you're one of my favorite people. So
yeah, it was great having you.
I feel the exact same way, guys. I appreciate it so much. I'm always down to keep spreading the word of XR and what we're doing with our hardware and our software. I mean, we have countless things that we're doing throughout the year, at countless events that we're attending. So if anyone that is in the chat is attending any one of these events, and please come say hi to me. Please, ask me questions. I learn by learning from other people, and I love to listen to what people have to say. And if there's ever any issues, like nobody's gonna know about it unless you tell me. And I'm always gonna try to make the situation better if I can.
Yep. Awesome. We have I know two huge fans of yours in chat. Todd, the Grey Wolves are here.
Oh, I love those guys.
It's Grey Wolf. Like a boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Oh yeah, John and Jordy are amazing people.
They are.
And then
they're coming to visit me in Canada. I'm so excited. I can't wait for them to come.
Oh, I can make them feel bad about something.
Oh, excellent.
Because they went to Washington not too long ago, and
they didn't go see you.
No.
Wow, that's so rude.
Yep.
Yeah. Now we got to yell at him.
Emotional damage.
John's in the chat.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
no, don't do
No,
it.
too funny.
I have to do it.
Too funny, Brandon. Seriously, man, you're
Thank you so
one of my
much, guys.
favorites. I cannot wait to go see you at GDC.
Yeah, we got some awesome stuff going on at GDC. So
yeah, no, which is cool because we're going to be there, kind of trying to report on everything. For me and Todd with HTC VR Gamer, amongst the other 1.5 million things that we have to do out there as Impact Reality as well. So, hopefully we'll have some news to bring back everybody. Right?
Have you guys tried out Sandbox VR yet?
No,
I haven't.
I didn't make it to the last one. We had.
I know people who have done it, but
no.
I have not had a chance to do it yet.
GDC, I'll get you there.
Let's do it.
Right,
I
we're
love
in.
it.
Cool.
That'd be
Yeah, Sandbox is another one of our amazing partners that uses Focus 3s at all their arcades. So it's like 2 blocks away from the show floor at GDC. So we'll get you over there.
Excellent.
But
all right, man.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Love having
You guys
you.
are amazing. Thanks everybody in chat. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Yep.
Dude, Brendan's awesome. He's just a really good friend. I mean, we've known him for a long time. He's just a really good person. You know what I mean? When you get to, I say this all the time, but when you get really good people in the VR space that are already doing amazing things, just makes you feel good about the community and what we have going on. And Brandon's just an overall really good person who's trying to help VR push forward. He has been with HTC for over 8 years. He's been here since almost the beginning, guys. So
yeah, when people say HTC, he's the first thing that pops into my head. Like he is their ambassador.
I know, and he looks like he's 15.